right, everybody's favorite division of polynomials. Start off, a goes in a squared, a times. Now just do a times each of the pieces. A times a squared. A times that 3 minus 3a. We must be careful because what we have to do here is we have to subtract that whole thing. So if you want to think, you can come inside and go, hey, it's a squared plus 2a minus this whole thing of a squared minus 3a. And you could distribute your negative through. That would give you minus a squared, but that minus negative, that's going to change to plus 3a. That and that are going to go away, and you're going to be left with what? 5a, which is what we're left with down here. Excuse me. Now, I personally just go 2a minus a negative. I know that's going to change to a plus. So 2a plus a 3a is 5a. Bring down the next number, minus 15, and then start the problem all over again. A goes into 5a, 5 times. 5 times a, 5a. 5 times the 3 minus 15. And when you subtract the whole thing, you're not going to have any remainder. It goes into it perfectly because a minus 3 times quantity a plus 5 gives you a squared plus 2a minus 15. 24. Ooh, tried to pull a trick on you. Notice you don't have any centerpiece. There's no a's, 0 of them. So you need to rewrite this before you try to do the problem. So I have a squared plus no a's minus 25. So now I go a goes into a squared, a times a squared, a times the 5 minus 5a. Remember, you must subtract the whole thing. That means the minus that negative is going to change to a plus 5a and give you 5a's down there. Minus 25. I bring the next number down, and then I start the problem all over again. A into 5a goes 5 times. 5 times a, 5a, 5 times the negative 5, minus 25. Subtract the whole thing, and you're going to see no remainder. 25. Ooh, looks tricky. No big deal. A squared times what gives you an a cubed? An a. A times a squared, a cubed. A times that a squared. A times 2, 2a. Remember, we're going to subtract the whole thing. So a cubed minus a cubed goes away. 2a squared minus that a squared is an a squared. 3a minus that 2a is an a. I bring down my next number right here, which is Mr. 2. Start the problem all over again. A squared times what gives you a squared? A 1. 1 times a squared is a squared. 1 times the a is a. 1 times the 2 is 2. And when I subtract, whoop, they go no remainder. 26. Again, you should notice, wait, it's missing some pieces. Yes, it's missing quite a few. So we're going to do a plus 2 into an a cubed plus no a squareds plus 0 a's plus 8. A into a cubed, a squared times a cubed, a squared times 2, 2a squared. Subtracting the whole thing. A cubed minus a cubed goes away. 0a squared minus 2a squared is negative 2a squared. Bring down my 0a. Start the problem all over again. A times what gives you negative 2a squared? Negative 2a. Negative 2a times the a, negative 2a squared. Negative 2a times the 2, minus 4a. It's just a process. Now I'll subtract the whole thing, and then it'll bring down my next number. Negative 2a minus negative 2a, that changes to plus, so it goes basically away. 0a minus a negative 4a, that changes to plus 4a. And 0 plus 4a is 4a. I bring down the 8. Start all over again. A goes into 4a 4 times. 4 times a, 4a. 4 times the 2, 8. Subtract the whole thing. No remainder again. I doubt it'll be that way for the next one. 27. A goes in a squared, a times a squared, a times the 5, 5a. Subtract the whole thing. A squared minus a squared goes away. Negative 6a minus a 5a, that's going to be negative 11a. And then I bring down my negative 3 or subtract 3, start all over again. A goes into negative 11a, negative 11 times. Negative 11 times a, negative 11a, negative 11 times the 5, minus 55. Remember, I'm subtracting the whole thing. Negative 11a minus a negative changes to plus. They go away. Negative 3 minus a negative. That minus a negative will change to plus 55, which will give us a remainder of positive 52. So we write it as plus fractional part 52 over the a plus 5. Whoop, missing the a piece, aren't we? A minus 2 into an a squared plus 0a's minus 8. A into a squared, a times a squared, a times 2 minus 2a, subtract the whole thing. A squared minus a squared goes away. 0a minus a negative, that changes to plus, so I get a 2a. Bring down Mr. 8. A times what gives you 2a? A 2. 2 times a is 2a. 2 times that negative 2 is minus 4. Subtracting the whole thing. This minus and negative will change to plus. Negative 8 plus 4 will be negative 4 remainder. So the remainder is plus a negative 4 over a minus 2. There's all the problems for you. I hope it helped you.